mighty. Not because you want to, but you have to. Be bold and no time to be bashful. Grab life by the horns like a natural. Be sharp, be quick, and be agile. Never ever let a competitor catch you. Stay ahead of whatever is trying to pass you. Though it's not a race.
Hello and welcome. My name is Samuel Ray, also known as Dr. Sam, and this here is S-Factor Labs. And like I said in previous update, I am bringing back my discussion content. I had stopped doing so because I was trying too hard to keep it exclusively related to gaming related topics, and I just kind of ran out of things to talk about, especially with my current job taking up a lot more of my time and leaving me with less free time to play games and take in gaming related news and such. But I also was trying to avoid certain topics that are related more to, I guess you could say, philosophical or behavioral or psychological or even mildly societal topics. And you know, I realized you can't avoid offending everyone. If you say an opinion at all, somebody somewhere will get offended, take it personally. So what's the point of restricting yourself from speaking your mind? It's just not a healthy way to approach the society we live in nowadays, right? The internet society specifically, but it happens offline, in real life, just less so, less often than on the internet, because internet anonymity gives people a feeling of freedom to be as toxic as they can, or as toxic as they may impulsively want. And on top of that, social media gives everyone a megaphone, and the people who often use it the most are the ones who probably shouldn't be. So I figured, why should I restrict my own voice? I have a platform, and I might as well just say what I think about these things. So let me just say, as a disclaimer here, in this topic, I am not talking about any individual in specific. I honestly do not care enough about the people who do the thing I'm going to talk about to try and put them on blast in subtext or whatever they want to say. That's something I'll talk about another day too. People try to read subtext and implication where it doesn't exist simply because they don't like what's being said. And I'm definitely want to dive into that a little bit more at another date. But today, I want to talk about the concept, behavioral concept I could say, or the psychological concept that is so common in modern society, of people to get offended and take things as a personal attack when you challenge something they've said. If you disagree with them, they immediately think, oh, this person must hate me, or this person is attacking me directly because they voiced disagreement with something I said, something that I stated as fact, even though it is solely rooted in subjectivity, feelings, and the like. And I'm not going to mince words. That's just a stupid sentiment. It really is. And again, I'm not attacking anyone specifically. I'm attacking the concept. I'm attacking the principle mindset behind this behavior, because it is a blight upon who behaves in such a way, and it is a blight upon those who interact with them. It makes you such a dislikable person if anytime you say your piece on something and someone disagrees with you, just come at that person as if they're attacking you personally. And that's just not how it works. Like, I can disagree with you and not hate you as a person. Like, that's kind of my default, That's how I operate. I attack what's said. I don't attack the person who's saying it. And it's only when the person's behavior, their reaction to it, shows that they're an undesirable, someone who is just displaying poor traits, personality traits, behavioral traits, what have you, mindset, psychology. Yeah, I'm going to lose respect for the person. I'm still not going to be hateful towards them. And I honestly don't care how a person may have had interactions with someone else, right? They may have had 100 people attack them in the last month, but guess what? That doesn't mean I'm attacking you. So don't attribute to others don't attribute to me what others have done, right? Don't attribute to one person what they have not done, but that others have done. Generalizations like that are just harmful. They're not helpful. And it's just one of those cases where, like, so essentially, you know, someone can try to make a statement as a fact, their opinion. This thing is bad because I don't like it, or this thing that I don't like is bad. And I could say, I don't think that's necessarily accurate. There's too much nuance to this, right? Because in life, there is a lot of nuance. There are some things that are not a some things that are not a matter of nuance. And, you know, the cut and dry things, but they are much fewer and farther between. And I would definitely say that what I'm talking about here is pretty cut and dry. If someone disagrees with you, do not treat it as if they're personally attacking you. Even if they're attacking what you said, they are not attacking you until they say something that clearly indicates that. Do not try to attribute implication to a disagreement. You know what I mean? That's just, psychologically speaking, it's a logical fallacy, and it is a sign of a weak ego, or more accurately, a weak mentality and a fragile. If your ego cannot handle being disagreed with, then you have no like place saying your opinions. Because if you expect to exercise your freedom to state your opinion on the internet, you better be able to handle someone disagreeing with you. You know, turnabout is fair play. You can't go about saying what you think as law and then immediately get overly defensive and offended as soon as someone disagrees with you. That's just not how it works, you know? And so if you disagree with me on this, I mean, that's fine, that's your right, but it's not a logical stance, and so I'm not going to treat it as a logical stance. Doesn't mean I hate you as a person. And if you get offended by me saying that, you are literally like being what I'm talking about, you know? Just congratulations, you played yourself kind of situation. Like, you're outing yourself as the type of unreasonable person I'm talking about. Are currently key smashing in the comments from hearing me say this. Like, I mean, thank you for the engagement. Go ahead and comment. That just helps me in the YouTube algorithm and getting my words out there to more people. But I don't hate you as a person if you disagree either. Again, I can say something is illogical, and that's not necessarily saying that you're a bad person. It's just that stance, you know, thought process or approach to the thing is not rooted in reality. And I'm just saying that about the stance, the statement, you know, the thought process. People need to stop attributing their every stance, their every statement as their self, right? Like, this opinion of mine is me. Makes no sense. No, it's not you. It's a thought you had. It's an opinion you hold, yes. That opinion does come from some core part of you, but the opinion is not you. It's not what defines you as a whole. So if I disagree with it, come at it with logic and often facts, well, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the statement. And there's a tweet. I keep saying tweet. Nobody really calls Twitter X these days. It's confusing. But anyway, there's a post on there that this person, Fuming F, EFF, said, and it puts it so perfectly. People have zero perspective, and their ego has to be the most fragile material on Earth because it cracks and shatters the moment someone breathes against it. Not every single disagreement is a personal attack towards their existence, so why do they all act like it is? End quote. That is just so accurate, right? Someone says something, a person disagrees with it, and the person who made the statement immediately feels like they're being personally attacked, and that their whole existence and such is being threatened by this disagreement. And it's just, again, it's a fragile ego. And it's a lack of perspective, right? Here at S-Factor Labs, aka the community that I'm building here, we're all about varied perspectives. Heck, the subtitle to my podcast, Counterpick, is New Perspectives, because we're all about opening our minds to perspectives outside our own so that we can further enrich our minds, understand other people, and have a better grasp on others as well as ourselves, and then compare that against reality. That is how you can seek objectivity, to seek truth. And truth is singular, it is rooted in reality. There is no my truth and your truth. There is the truth. Now, as humans, we all are flawed and we cannot always discern that objective truth, but we can try. That's one of the things that makes us distinctly human, is our ability to reason on things, to think, to use logic. The beasts can't do that. And, beastly animals, they can just operate on instinct for the most part, survival instinct generally. But we as humans, we can think, we can reason, we have intellect. And intellect isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It takes a mindset of trying to increase your knowledge, and then not only increase your knowledge, but then apply that knowledge to your thoughts, words, and actions, because that's what wisdom is, taking knowledge and experience and putting it into actual active application in your life to better yourself, better your understanding of others, of yourself, and of the world around you. And that is what we're about here. I mean, that's what the S factor is. It's intellectual intelligence, not general common intelligence, but building up your own intellect through learning, through understanding. And the people who take such offense to their every opinion and thought being, any opinion or thought that is being challenged, being disagreed with, it's a closed-minded mindset. It really is. They're not willing to see things in a way other than how they feel in the moment. Being entirely emotionally driven and ignoring ignoring perspective, choosing to be ignorant. And that's just not something I'm going to respect. Now, I'm not going to treat you like a bad person if you do that, but I'm not going to necessarily respect you beyond the standard universal human respect. I'll respect your existence, I'll respect your right to free will and free speech, but I'm not going to respect everything you say and do. And that's fine. That should be fine. That shouldn't feel like an attack on your existence. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to put a voice to the thought and research I put into things, because I am someone who tries to find truth. I'm someone who tries to seek out objectivity whenever I can. Now, I'm not perfect. There are times where my own biases may color what I'm saying, and if that happens, I welcome you to challenge what I say. New perspective to the table. I want that. I want to have a better understanding. And that's something I feel like every single human being on this planet can aspire to and should aspire to. I'm not special. I'm just doing what humans should do because I'm choosing to do so. I want to do so. I want to learn. I want to grow. And I don't want to stop learning and growing. I don't want to be complacent in where I am now. I want to grow in knowledge and wisdom. And yeah, when I feel like I have found, when I'm confident, that's what I'm looking for. When I'm confident that I have a logically sound stance on something, yeah, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not going to be weak and just budge. But here's the thing. If you challenge something I say, my default reaction is to discuss. Or if you're a bit more aggressive, to debate. But guess what? I'm still open to letting you talk. I'm not going to try to just drown you out. If you say something, I'll say something in reply. And then you say something, and it goes back and forth. That's a discourse. That's a two-way street. That's what conversation, discussion, debate, that's what it's all about. Now, if I think you're being completely unreasonable, then yeah, I'm going to probably say that in some form or fashion. I'm generally not the type of person who's going to try and be subliminal or play these stupid little mind games or, this subterfuge, this subtext. I'm not the type of person to be indirect like that. I do not have enough time and energy in a day to be thinking about people who don't matter to me like that. But if something that is said to me inspires me to talk here in my content and on my platforms, I'm talking about the concept. I'm talking about the topic. I'm not talking about the individual. And I know I keep reiterating that, but that is a fundamental part of how I approach things. I care more about knowledge than people in general. Like, I care more about being a seeker of truth than a seeker of, yes men, or being a yes man to someone else. Like, I'm not going to agree with someone that that I think is being out of pocket or unreasonable. I'm going to say it like it is. And yeah, I probably should keep it more to this kind of platform rather than on social media as much, just because social media is so inclined towards outrage culture. But, I think we can be better in that aspect. We can not get so offended if someone disagrees with us or if they directly challenge something that we've posted. As we know, social media generally has a character limit, not enough space to have a really well thought out post, right? The shorter your statement, the less nuance you're able to convey. But as we know, also nowadays, if you write a lot on platforms that actually allow that, people have such a short attention span on average that they're like, too long, not going to read that. I'm going to disregard your statement, even if you said a lot of reasonable or logical or factual things. Since it was too long, I'm going to choose to be ignorant. And this just makes me laugh every time, because in trying to discount someone who wrote, as they say, quote, an essay, end quote, they're choosing to be the ignorant ones by not even hearing what the other person is saying before disregarding them, right? Or trying to call them stupid or whatever. And if you resort to insulting the other person or without even giving them the kind of listening ear they're giving you, then you are the lesser person in that situation. That's just how it is. You don't have to agree with everything, but you have to at least understand what the other person's saying before you have any kind of a foundation on which to speak on it, to say whether or not they're right or wrong. And, I may say sometimes, yeah, no, I don't think I agree with this, and this is why. That's an invitation for you to further flesh out your statement, qualify it, go ahead, give it some more context. And then if I do understand after that, I always say so. I mean, in the recent situation that inspired this, the person did go into a bit more detail in a reply, and guess what? I said, oh, I think you misunderstand me. I don't disagree on this aspect of it. I just disagree on this other aspect of it. But at that point, the person was already too offended to really see how reasonable I was being and how I was actually acknowledging their stance and even agreeing with part of it. Just showing exactly what I'm talking about here. Taking the initial disagreement as a personal attack on their very existence or their very being. And that was it. Once that happens, your mind is closed to discussion, closed to learning, closed off. You're not gonna be able to take in new knowledge and adjust your approach, adjust your mindset. And that's just showing a lack of character, honestly. And like I said, no one's perfect, right? And you don't have to agree with everything someone says. You also don't have to just roll over for every disagreement and say, oh, no, you're right, I was wrong. That's not what I'm saying. Have conviction in what you're saying. That's what I try to do. I have conviction when I know what I'm talking about, when I put a lot of thought into what I'm saying. But just don't get so defensive and offended, right? You gotta have some balance. You can have conviction in your words, but you still have to accept the fact that other people can disagree with you, and other people have just as much a right to voice that disagreement or voice their thoughts or analysis or bring up refuting facts and evidence. Like, if you're on a social media and you don't want people to disagree with you or to be able to openly disagree with you, you better lock those replies. But even then, they can still quote, quote retweet, quote repost? I don't know the terminology. You get the idea. So if you don't want people to exercise their right to free speech and disagree with something you're saying and possibly call out what you're saying, then you just have no right to say it in public forum anyway, in any form or fashion, because there is no way to do so without someone being able to exercise that right. So if you're going to say something in a public space, you better be willing to listen. Or maybe not listen, but just let people say their piece. You don't even have to engage, really. And that's the other part, you know? If you just can't help but be offended when someone disagrees with you, do not engage. Do not attack the person who's disagreeing with you. If you can't handle a civil discussion, do not argue. Don't attack the person, and it's crazy. Because as soon as you have that flare up of emotion, you've already lost the sauce. You already lost the plot. It's wraps. It's over for you. And if you take that and you attack the other person, even worse. There's a statement that I saw in a video recently, but if you're in a debate or an argument with someone and they resort to attacking you as in a person, you personally, you're winning the argument. And that's the thing. A debate or a discussion shouldn't be about winning or losing, but if you get so riled up, feel personally attacked that you're going to attack the other person, they call that ad hominem, right? As in you're attacking the person, not the argument, right? Not the statement. You've lost. You've given up. You've thrown, so to speak. That's it. You've shown your weakness. You've shown that your statement has no legs to stand on. You're done. It's over. You have shown yourself to be of lesser mind, or mindset, more accurately, of weak ego, and that's it. It's just you're literally wasting your own time and the time of the other person. And for me, whenever someone resorts to that, I tend to disengage. I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time on this. So, be respectable. And to be you don't deserve respect unless you're being respectable and respectful. So, and here's the thing, I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not attacking anyone. I think that this is just something that most people who do it are capable of overcoming. Unless you have a biological abnormality, right? Because I'm not discounting medical conditions, psychological deficiencies, mental disabilities. I'm not discounting any of that. I'm not disregarding that. I'm someone who has Tourette's syndrome. It's a mild form that's not as outwardly noticeable because I was diagnosed early and I learned how to function despite it. But it is not always an excuse, right? It depends on the intensity, right? Some people, they have just such disability that they cannot control the way their brain works, chemically and biologically speaking. Okay, yeah, I understand that. If that's the case, then learn, that kind of person should learn how to avoid those situations, right? Just don't. If there is literally nothing then do not get into those situations. That way you're not bringing more trouble upon yourself and others, right? And if you can't do that yourself, then have someone who you can trust to help you out with that, for sure. There's things I can't do, or there's shortcomings I have, and I do everything I can to work around them. I'm not saying I'm above anyone. I understand having shortcomings. I'm not perfect, and I never claim to be perfect or to know everything, but I try. I try to understand. I try to learn. If I have a statement that I'm standing by and it's proven wrong, I generally don't dig my heels in once I know I'm wrong. I'm not the kind of person who can't admit when I'm wrong. When I've been proven wrong by facts and logic, I accept it, and then I adjust my mindset on that. It's happened many times before. I've had wrong impressions on things in the past, been proven wrong, And then I adjusted that, and in future discussions, I actually did adjust for that. Future discussions on that same topic, that concept, what have you, I have adjusted. So I've been wrong before, but I don't fold to illogical and irrational arguments, because those aren't based on reality. You got to come in with facts and logic. And if you can't keep emotionally cool-headed enough to do that, then do not try to argue. It's just not going to help anybody. It's only going to make you look bad. It's going to be a drain on all the other people around you. It's going to make you less likable. It's just going to, it's one of those things. You're outing yourself, right? And in some cases, I guess it's good that you out yourself, because then people who will know to avoid you. But I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Nobody should be isolated from everyone, right? We're social creatures, human beings. So it's better to learn how to counteract negative traits like getting easily offended by disagreements and taking things as a personal attack when they're not attacking you, they're disagreeing with your statement, or they're attacking your statement, right? Again, a disagreement is not a personal attack. So as we try to do here, we try to learn something from these situations. We're not here to attack people. So what can we learn, right? Well, I've already stated a few times, so I'll try to summarize it as concisely as I can. People will disagree with you. There is not any opinion out, something that's based in the subjective that is going to be 100% agreed with by everybody. So if you do state your opinion somewhere public, expect that somebody is going to disagree with you. They may do so in a respectable way, may do so in a disrespectful way, but somebody will disagree with you. So you be prepared for that mentally, and do not take it as a personal attack on yourself unless the person insults you, directly attacks you in an explicit way, not an implicit way. Do not try to take implications where there are none. And don't try to create or make up implications, reading implications that aren't there simply because you're upset. That's just not a good thing, not at all. So if you're going to state an opinion, be ready to have that opinion challenged. If you can't handle that, do not state the opinion in public forum. Period. That's the end of it, right? And then if you are able to handle that, have open and goodwill conversation, right? Have discussion, maybe even debate. Just don't let it become an aggressive argument, right? Because even if the other person is being assertive in their stance, in their disagreement, reasons behind why, do not mistake that assertiveness for aggression. It's not. Assertiveness is confidence. It's having conviction in your words. That's strength of character, not weakness. Having a fragile ego and feeling personally attacked by every disagreement, that is weakness. So don't be weak. Literally, everyone has the strength to overcome that kind of tendency, if that is your proclivity. If that's your impulsive tendency. I mean, fine, we all have our imperfections, right? But everyone has the ability to overcome that. Everyone, for the most part. Aside from fringe cases, fringe exceptions, but those are not the rule. So do your best to have an open mind. If you're going to state your opinions, have an open mind to other opinions. And don't state opinions as generalized fact, right? Because it's not. And if someone disagrees with you, again, I'm going to drill this in as many times as I can. Do not take a disagreement as a personal attack. It just factually is not. Unless the other person directly insults you, do not take it as a personal attack. Don't read the subtext that's not there. If a person disagrees with your statement, take it as that. They are disagreeing with what you said. They don't hate you as an individual. They are not attacking your very existence. Do not. Generally, they probably don't even care about who you are. They just disagreed with what you said, and they stated such. So either take it as such and have an amicable, have a debate or a discussion in goodwill, give the benefit of the doubt until they show that they actually are attacking you, or just don't engage. That's literally the two best ways to go about it. engage in a respectable way or don't engage at all. And you'll just have a better time. You'll have less wasted energy and wasted time on these kind of things. And you'll be just in general a more respectable and likable individual, because nobody wants to be around someone who's going to just easily get offended, feel personally attacked at every little disagreement. Because even your closest friend or family is not going to agree with you 100% of the time. That's just a fact of life. I've had countless disagreements with my own family members, but we don't hate each other for it. And that's what you're supposed to do with everyone. So just try to take that from this. Don't get angry and start furiously typing in the comments or on social media. I mean, if you do, congratulations, you played yourself, and thank you for the engagement. But if you're able to disagree with me respectfully, yeah, I'll hear you out. We'll talk. I'm cool with that. I like talking and discussing these kind of things. I may not necessarily not be guaranteed to come around to your way of thinking, but that's fine. I don't hate you as a person. I just may not disagree. I may not agree with what you're saying. And that's just it. That sums it all up perfectly. So let's have some discussion, Like if you like what I'm saying here, even if you agree or not. Dislike if you didn't, I don't, that's fine. I don't care. All the feedback is good feedback in this kind of line of I want to say line of business, but it's not business. I don't make money on this. In this field, I guess you could say. All feedback is good feedback because it just gives you a good idea of a good view of the landscape, right? And every bit of engagement does help. And then subscribe if you want to hear more discussions like this, more little rambles of my thoughts. My thoughts, my analysis, my observation. I like to have intellectual conversation. Even if it's just me talking to the viewer or if talking to someone else. So if you like these kind of thing, subscribe to my YouTube. There's gonna be more of this. I already have a decent amount of it on the channel already. And if you're listening in audio-only podcast form, then follow that, because I'm going to be uploading all my talk content onto my podcast as well. That's it from me. I got my thoughts out there. I'm going to post this and move on life, I'll discuss with people who want to discuss if you want to. And, I'm gonna just keep doing my things my way, trying to learn and grow, expand my understanding, feed the mind, so to speak, and just really try to be as decent a person as I can in that way, right? I know who I am, and I'm gonna stick to my guns, but that doesn't mean I can't come to better understanding of things. So if you know something I don't, tell me about it. I love it. I love learning. I love to see new perspectives, Alright, that's it for me. I'm gonna move on with the rest of my day. Got some stuff to do. I'm sure you do as well. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, whether you're listening to this in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Dr. Samuel Ray, out.